Cambridge International is Level Sociology. Topic: Looking Glass Self. The looking glass self is a sociological concept developed by Charles Horton Cooley, describing the process by which individuals develop their self-concept through their perceptions of how others view them. An example of this can be seen in a student preparing for a class presentation. The student may imagine how their classmates and the teacher will view their performance, whether they will be seen as knowledgeable, articulate, or confident. The student's self-concept is shaped not only by their own perceptions but by the anticipated judgments and opinions of others, illustrating the influence of social interactions on the formation of one's identity. 1. Introduction to Looking Glass Self. Definition: the looking glass self is a concept that explains how individuals form their self-concept based on their perceptions of how others perceive them. For example, if a teenager believes their friends see them as outgoing and funny, they may internalize these perceptions, influencing their self-image and behavior accordingly. The concept of highlights the social nature of identity formation, emphasizing the role of interpersonal dynamics in shaping individuals' sense of self. 2. Components of looking glass self. Imagining others' perceptions. Discuss how individuals imagine how others view them in various social institutions. In the looking glass self, individuals imagine how others perceive them in social situations. For instance, someone at a party might consider if others see them as engaging or reserved, influencing their self-concept based on these imagined perceptions. Imagining others' judgments. Explore the role of anticipating others' judgments and reactions in the development of self-concept. In the looking glass self, individuals anticipate others' judgments to shape their self-concept. For example, a student presenting a project imagines how classmates and the teacher will judge their performance, influencing their self-perception based on these anticipated evaluations. 3. Three stages of looking glass self. Imagine how others perceive us. In the initial stage of the looking glass self, individuals imagine how others perceive them. For instance, during a job interview, a candidate may consider if the interviewer views them as competent and professional, influencing their self concept based on the imagined perception. Imagine how others evaluate us. In the second stage of the looking glass self, individuals consider how others evaluate and judge them. For example, a person posting on social media may anticipate how followers will evaluate their content, shaping their self-concept based on these anticipated judgments. Develop a self-concept. In the final stage of the looking glass self, individuals develop their self-concept based on imagined perceptions and evaluations. For instance, if someone consistently imagines positive feedback from peers, they may develop a self-concept of being sociable and likable. 4. Role of significant others. Primary socialization agents. Significant others, like family and close friends, serve as primary socialization agents in shaping the looking glass self. For instance, a child's self concept may be influenced by how their parents consistently praise and value their achievements, impacting their perception of competence and worth. Impact of authority figures. Authority figures and role models significantly impact the looking glass self. For example, a student's self-concept may be shaped by a teacher's encouragement or criticism, influencing how they perceive their academic abilities and behavior in the classroom. 5. Criticisms and limitations. Cultural variations. Cultural variation pose a challenge to the universality of the looking glass self. For example, in individualistic cultures where personal achievement is emphasized, the impact of imagined perceptions on self-concept may differ compared to collective cultures, where group harmony and conformity play a more significant role. Individual differences. Individual differences contribute to variations in reliance on the looking glass self. For instance, individuals with high self-esteem may be less influenced by imagined perceptions, while those with low self-esteem might heavily rely on external judgments to shape their self-concept. 6. Applications in everyday life. Social media and self-image. In today's digital age, social media platforms serve as prominent arenas for the looking glass self. For example, individuals may shape their online self-image based on the perceived reactions to their posts, influencing their self-concept and identity. Job interviews and impressions. During job interviews, individuals engage in looking glass self processes by imagining how interviewers perceive them. For instance, a candidate might adjust their presentation style based on anticipated judgments, aiming to create a favorable impression and influence their chances of success.